First, a woman from Afghanistan who has fought against nearly insurmountable odds to educate herself is now educating others.
She is the founder of the first all-female coding school in Afghanistan and has been running it from her home in New England. 207's Beth McAvoy has more for us. Hey, Beth.
Rob and Sammy, Fereshteh Forough is well acquainted with opposition and has spent her life overcoming it. Now she helps girls in her native country do the same, giving them hope through computer skills. I sat down with her at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire to learn more.
In Iran during the Soviet invasion to Afghanistan. Like a lot of families who leave the country to find a safe haven, sadly they had to leave everything behind and just start a life with a suitcase.
From her earliest memories, Fereshteh Forough has understood that life is about the obstacles you overcome. Being one of 8 children, it was a challenge for her immigrant parents to provide for their large family.
My mom learned and started how to stitch and make dresses, and by selling them she could bring income to the family and not only help the family economy but also invest on the girls' education in the family, where we were able to buy school supplies.
She finished high school in Iran. After the fall of the Taliban in 2001, she then returned to her parents' hometown of Herat in Afghanistan to attend the university there.
I actually hated computer science at the beginning.
But her parents encouraged her to stick with it.
It challenged you to come up with a solution, and you can create something that you own. That sense of ownership and creativity actually make me very excited.
Forough received her bachelor's in computer science from Herat University and later her master's in Berlin. She returned to Herat to be a professor and continued to face discrimination just as she had as a student.
I taught Java programming, and because I was one of the very first female tutor or mentor, only less than 10 women showed up and no men, because they were like, oh, how come we go and learn programming from a girl? I faced a lot of pushbacks, a lot of emails with not nice words. And that was only because I stood up for myself. I stood up for my rights, and I wanted to push for more gender equality, especially in the tech sector.
Facing threats, Forough moved to the U.S. In 2015, she launched Code to Inspire, the first coding school for young women in Afghanistan.
As a refugee, I learned that great things can start with empty hands. Usually you don't need to have everything ready for you to make something happen. It doesn't matter where you are and what you have, if you believe in yourself. And that was the entrepreneurial spirit that I learned from my mother as well. Also, just being a woman in Afghanistan in tech sector and the challenges that I faced, I was like, well, if I don't stand up and raise my voice, who's gonna do that?
Code to Inspire is an after-school program for young women up to 25 years old. The school is free and teaches girls coding, mobile ad design, blockchain, and more.
We graduated more than 200 students. 60% of our graduates found jobs within the community.
Many girls have gotten jobs online. Some are making more than the men in their families. All going well until the Taliban took over Afghanistan last year, imposing strict barriers to women and girls' education and human rights.
The day that I woke up and I saw the videos of Taliban walking in the city, in all those places that I used to walk, it was very heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to see that we are losing everything. Everything that I fought so hard for those girls, their equality, and other women in Afghanistan. This past 2 decades, all the hard work, all the fights, all the sacrifice that we've done, all of a sudden you think that it's gone.
It felt like all was lost for students like 18-year-old Kawasar, whose last name and identity we are protecting because of backlash she could face.
I lost my hope for, I thought that I was never able to get any education,
Forough moved fast, closing the physical school to keep the girls and staff safe, but opening classes online. The school purchased laptops for girls that didn't have them, made sure they had internet access, and are keeping the school afloat underground.
I told myself that I shouldn't lose my hope and I should fight for my dreams, you know?
Kawasar, along with 80% of her fellow students, have continued to attend Code to Inspire. Kawasar is using her skills to earn money from freelance work.
It's a great feeling. It's a great success to have and to earn your own money, especially for girls in Afghanistan, because there are many rules and many restrictions, especially after Taliban came in Afghanistan.
It's a dark time, and everyone thinks that it's done for the women of Afghanistan. We actually have 20 of our graduates and students who are working remotely for companies in the U.S.
Afghanistan has been dealing with a financial crisis following the Taliban's occupation. Forough turned to cryptocurrencies as a safe way to send money to help students in need.
I'm really honored and proud to say that I'm an Afghan girl. Because there are a lot of problems in Afghanistan, you know, and even with those problems, we didn't give up on our dreams, and we are doing our best to achieve our dreams.
Despite all the setbacks, hope is not lost.
People always have this dark image of Afghanistan, that it's a ruined land. But you always can find something very meaningful and valuable, even in the ruins. I personally think that this time, the liberation and the freedom of Afghanistan would be in the hand of the women of Afghanistan.
And Forough says Dartmouth College has been a great ally to Code to Inspire. She continues her work in New Hampshire, and she's hopeful that one day the physical school in Afghanistan will reopen.
Thank you, Beth. Quite a story.